Yo, what's up? It's your boy William back again to talk about giant fucking robots. This will be a special episode as it will be the very first time that we specifically enshrine 3 mobile armors into the halls of greatness on the Golden Gundam Award Show. So let's fire up that flux capacitor to go back in time to 1979's original gangster mobile suit Gundam to select the top 5 best mobile armors from the anime that started it all. Let's kick things off by stating the rules. Only mobile armors that appear within the anime are eligible for entry. Each mobile armor will be evaluated based on its abilities, its technical specifications, its equipment, its utilization, and its cool factor. The top 5 mobile armors will receive a place in the rankings, and the top 3 will be granted a special honor, but only the winner will be bestowed with the award of awards, the Golden Gundam. With the rules in place, let's take a quick look at the place where it all began. In the 1970s, unless you had a big production company behind you, the anime you wanted to make probably didn't get made. All of that changed in 1997, when Sunrise sold the toy rights for Invincible Superman Zambot 3 to Clover. This was followed up with a moderately successful toy line for Invincible Steelman Daitarn 3, so naturally Sunrise wanted to make it 3 in a row. Sunrise then pitched Space Battle Group Gunboy to Clover, and the anime was given the green light for 52 episodes. After a little time and a name change, the world was given Kido Senshi Gandaru, and on April 7, 1979, the real robot genre was born. Clover eventually was not pleased with the sales and forced the creators to put in the G-Fighter and all of its transformable derivatives, before eventually pulling funding and shortening the anime to 43 episodes. The toy rights were then sold to a small, tiny little company named Bandai, who started producing plastic model kits, and the rest is history. So, what is a mobile armor? The Gundam Fandom Wiki describes them as similar to mobile suits in technology and operation, but they vary tremendously in design. They are almost always significantly larger than mobile suits and non-humanoid in appearance. Due to the larger size, they frequently equip more powerful energy sources and thus make use of much larger and much more powerful equipment. They are rarely deployed together and are used more like a warship than a soldier. Much like suit, armor is an acronym which stands for All Range Maneuverability Offense Utility Reinforcement. Being that this is the first in the series and an anime that is 43 years old at the time of this video, the designs range from ambitious to downright ridiculous. Kunio Okawara was the designer for this series, and overall he did a really good job trying to quantify how a super weapon would function in the age of mobile suits. A lot of these weapons have incredibly intricate cockpits, often requiring more than one person, and they all seem highly difficult to operate effectively. Unless you're a whimsical Indian lady with ridiculously large green eyes that has psychic abilities. And if you were, you would know that the top 5 starts now. Number 5, MAN-08 Elmeth. Blasting the number 5 spot from long distance is the MAN-08 Elmeth. With an overall height of 47.4 meters, an overall length of 65.4 meters, and weighing in at a hefty 291.8 metric tons with its full complement, this experimental mobile armor was a fearsome opponent and killed many Federation soldiers without ever being seen. Nicknamed the Tricorn Hat and the Ghost of Solomon, this mobile armor was incredibly fast, but left some things to be desired in terms of maneuverability due to its shape and the fact that it relied heavily on its thrusters to move. The Elmeth was armed with a pair of megaparticle cannons that effectively had infinite ammo due to its mighty generator, and it was armed with 12 bits, which are remote weapons equipped with a rocket thruster, verniers, a power generator, a single beam gun, and a receptor that integrates them into the Elmeth's Psychomu system. Using this system, the pilot's brainwaves were able to direct the bits to attack independently and from all ranges. Developed under the direct order of Cassilia Zabi herself, This mobile armor was incredibly important to the plot of this anime, if only because its pilot's death affected both Amuro and Char deeply enough for them to fight it out over decades. This mobile armor was not only the first to use bits, but the Elmeth has a very important development path, which culminated in the prototype Cubile, that in turn put funnels into play, which changed the face of warfare forever thereafter in the Universal Century timeline. Not too bad for a weapon that was likened to a goofy hat from the 18th century. Number 4, MA-05 Bigro. Flying into the number 4 spot at blinding speed is the MA-05 Bigro. With an overall height of 23.6 meters, an overall length of 45.5 meters, and weighing in at 229.8 metric tons with its full complement, this mobile armor is possibly the most mobile weapon to exist in its age. Designed for hit-and-run tactics, this speed demon was armed with a megaparticle cannon built into its nose, a pair of quadruple missile launchers on either side, a pair of claw arms, and the later production models even featured a pair of Gatling cannons. In addition to its ridiculous speed and agility, the Bigro was equipped with a Minovsky particle scattering system, which makes use of Minovsky particles to essentially jam radar and make the Bigro undetectable. Made by the MIP company from the very first mobile armor ever designed, the MIP-X1, this mobile armor was the very first space-use combat mobile armor. It was originally never planned to see the light of day, but Zeon decided to reconsider its position after the war started. At any rate, this mobile armor subverts the usual trope that a mobile armor is ridiculously large, armed with an arsenal of weapons, and sluggish. The Bigro was so fast that a normal pilot was unable to operate it due to the extreme amount of G's that it produced, and on top of that, it was so agile that it could turn 180 degrees in a blazing 1.3 seconds. So much so that we even see the dependable Amuro pass out after it grabs the Gundam and takes him for a ride. Number 3, MAX-03 Adzam. Hovering at number 3 is the recipient of the Bronze Gundam, the MAX-03 Adzam. With an overall length of 25 meters, an overall width of 55.9 meters, and weighing in at 1,420 metric tons, this mammoth machine is often called the very first mobile armor. Developed from the G-87 Luna tank, this mobile armor makes use of the Minovsky craft system and 8 vertical takeoff and landing rotors to essentially float indefinitely. The Minovsky craft system makes use of an eye field that is contained within an electromagnetic field to generate a cushion between the bottom side of the Adzam and the ground, which creates a gravity countering effect, allowing it to lift off of the ground and maintain its altitude with the use of its vertical takeoff and landing rotors. The Adzam is armed with 8 2-barrel megaparticle cannons that are mounted both on the top and on the bottom part of the body, which grants it 360-degree coverage. The Adzam is also armed with a leader, which makes use of electrical plasma to overload the electrical system of a mobile suit. The leader consists of an explosive that contains conductive dust and a cage that covers the unlucky target in plasma. One of the strangest looking machines on any of our lists, this mobile armor was quite a pioneer. It is often called the first mobile armor, likely due to it being the first one we see in the anime and being the first one to see operational deployment despite being completely experimental at the time. It pioneered some important and interesting technology with both the leader and the Minovsky craft system. The leader would see its way back into use a short time later with the Valwalo and would be revised and used by other electrical style weapons such as the RX-139 Hamburby Sea Serpent weapon. The Minovsky craft system, on the other hand, was something that was also used on the Opsalus project, but mainly on battleships. This technology would stay around and eventually be developed into the Minovsky drive, which would see use almost 70 years later. Truly some Davy Crockett levels of pioneering going on here. Number 2, MAN-03 Browbro. Lurking in the depths of space at number 2 is the recipient of the Silver Gundam, the MAN-03 Browbro. With a massive overall length of 60.2 meters and a ridiculous weight displacement of 2,602.6 metric tons with its full complement, this is easily the biggest mobile armor on this list and the biggest thing we've ever ranked. This mobile armor is a unique piece of equipment. To begin with, its body is modular and designed to separate into different blocks to preserve the life of its data and its crew. Like the Elmeth, this mobile armor is equipped with a Psychomu system which is incorporated in a similar way. The Browbro uses 4 megaparticle guns that are connected to a wire-guided system that integrates with the Psychomu frame, which in turn allows a new type pilot to control them and perform all-range attacks. The 2 guns on the top and bottom are double barrel, while the 2 on the side are single barrel. Even though the Flanagan Institute developed this for new type use, the Browbro has a cockpit which resembles a battleship's bridge and enables it to be operated by old types. Quite an interesting machine we have here. This was the very first Psychomu-equipped mobile weapon to be successfully deployed in the field, and to my knowledge, the wire-guided system it used was also something that was completely unheard of at the time. Based on the technology at play here, it follows that the data from this weapon was instrumental in the creation of other weapons like the Elmeth, the Zeong, and all of the new type use weapons that followed thereafter. Its weight is quite novel and rather absurd, to the point that about the only other mobile armor that outweighs it in all of the Gundam universe is one that has an almost identical model number, the MAN-003 Petulia from After-War Gundam X. Admittedly, I have never seen that anime, and all I know of it is in relation to Garrod Ran appearing in the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games, but the Gundam Fandom Wiki states that it makes use of wired beam cannons, which sounds awfully familiar to what's going on with the Browbro, so it stands to reason that there is some sort of reference going on here, which is consistent with what usually goes on in Gundam anime. Before we name the winner, let's do a quick recap. Number 5, MAN-08 Elmeth. Number 4, MA-05 Bigro. Number 3, MAX-03 Adzam. Number 2, MAN-03 Browbro. And the very first mobile armor to receive the Award of Awards is number 1, MA-08 Big Zam. Blowing up your fortress at the number 1 spot is the winner of the Golden Gundam, the MA-08 Big Zam. One of the most fearsome machines ever made, this behemoth stands at 59.6 meters tall and weighs in at a massive 1,936 metric tons with its full complement. Designed as an anti-fortress weapon, this mobile armor was appropriately armed with a whopping 28 anti-aircraft megaparticle guns that line its body so that it has 360-degree coverage. 2 105mm Vulcan guns in the body, 6 air-to-air missiles that double as claws on its legs, and 1 large megaparticle gun that can destroy multiple battleships in a single shot. The Big Zam also employs 2 eye-field barrier generators, which create an invisible 3-dimensional cubic lattice around the Big Zam, which then deflects any and all beam attacks. The Big Zam is powered by 4 Minovsky ultra-compact fusion reactors, which were no doubt necessary considering the vast array of beam weaponry and defensive measures. Naturally, the Big Zam suffered from overheating issues and was said to be limited to a mere 20 minutes of operational time. In addition to the aforementioned cooling issues and its lack of mobility, the Big Zam's biggest weakness, which was exposed by the Gundam, is the fact that it is vulnerable to attacks from above. Ah yes, the Big Zam. This might be my favorite mobile armor ever made across all of the Gundam anime. At the time it was produced, this was probably the most powerful weapon on any given battlefield, save for the Gundam itself. It was originally designed to take down the Federation's base at Jaburo by sending a group of Big Zams down to Earth, which would then just blast the ever-loving shit out of it. This has been simulated multiple times in multiple video games and may very well have worked, if only because it would have likely been easier to cool the Big Zam on Earth than it was to cool it in space. It could easily be said for everything on this list that if more were produced, Zeon would have fared much better, but that point is especially true with this ridiculously powerful weapon. Well, that's it and that's all. Thanks for watching this episode of the Golden Gundam Show. Got your own top 5 or you want to see us do a specific ranking? Hey, let us know about it in the comments below. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. See you next time.
Haro, fuck you, Haro, you little bitch.
Piss off, you angry little wasabi pea.